Hi, Jerry with Hawkeye Squawk Box here again. One of the questions that's been asked, and it's what I'm responding to typically is questions that modelers ask me, is which way do you hold a cutter to trim something? Now this is a railroad cutter, a rail cutter from Xuron, and the question was asked quite a bit at the iHobby Expo by those attending. Well, the thing you want to understand is you want to have the flat side, this side here, towards the surface which you're going to keep. So if we cut this, we get a nice clean flat cut. Now I'm cutting a piece of styrene sprue and not a piece of rail, but just to illustrate how this works, if you were to turn this around and cut from the other way, it takes more pressure. And then you can see here we have kind of a tapered, jagged edge. So what happens is we want the cutter to cut flush and square. So you always make sure that your waste side goes to the beveled side and your finish side goes towards what you're keeping. Same holds true with a sprue cutter. Now this is a 2175 ET Pro sprue cutter from Xuron. Again, I'm going to cut this. You see we got a nice clean cut. If I were to reverse this, we get a little bit of a taper because we're trying to force what we're cutting back into what we want to save. So again, flat side to the finish. Okay, and this is just taken, we'll trim this off here. Okay, now we get a nice flat cut. Pretty flush too. Let's do that again down here. Let's work this in a couple parts. We're going to take this off, and then I'm going to come right down here, cut that off. Now sure, it's flat. There's a little residue, but again, I can probably clean this up a little bit with the cutters, and then I could hit it with a sanding stick to clean that up pretty well. But we're cutting something pretty heavy, not to say off a part. Well, let's just do a part. Here's a and there's different ways of cutting. You can cut this way, but I recommend you try to make your cut as short and as sweet as possible. So there, we have very little residue to clean up. I can clean that up with a polishing stick.